Good morning and welcome to another keyboard class. Was teaching a lesson yesterday, and like many of us, we play for a while, then we don't, and we go back and forth, and so I wanted to just take her back to the beginning of this book, which was a reminder for everyone, especially in this cold weather, the exercise in the beginning where you get a chance to massage your hands, and you're doing this. Just a reminder, it's easy to get away from that, so especially when it's freezing out in the morning, it's a good idea to, and also they talk about warming your hands in warm water, you know, whatever it takes. So today we're going to begin on page 90, the Lone Star Waltz, and we're dealing with sixths, right? And so when you look at the treble clef there at the a little bit above the middle of the page there, you're dealing with C and A. So now normally, you know, it's C, D, E, F, G. That's a fifth, but we're dealing with sixths. So C to A, and then D to B, E to C, and then F to D, and then G to E. So in this particular piece, this is what we're doing. We're moving up and down the keyboard in sixths. Okay. Now, if you look on the right there on page 91, it says staccato, and so that's like a short, very short, instead of so what we want is so it's a matter in part of keeping your thumb and your little finger the same distance apart once you've got that. So in the beginning, for this part of it, you don't worry about the staccato so much as just making sure that you've got the sixth. Okay? Okay, so then in the bass, we're going from middle C to E. So C to E, B to D, A to C, G to B. And then F to A, and then back up. So keeping your thumb and your little finger same distance apart. Now, I want to do a little fingering here, starting with the first measure. You've got everything. You got 1, 2, 5 in the treble clef, and then that G is with your fourth finger. You've got 1, 5 for the G, C. In the second measure, you've got 1, 5 already there in the bass. 1, 3, 5, 4 again. So G is your fourth finger. And then when you look, so in the bass clef, just you've got G and C. So you want from here, but then you're dropping down 1 to B, right? So you're going from a fifth to a sixth. Okay, so in the third measure, the bass is your 6, so it's 1, but it is still 1/5, right? You're fingering. And then in the treble clef, in the third measure, your fingering is, so it's D, F, A, right? So 1, 3, 5, and then the G is 4 again. And then they give you the, oh, no, they don't. So the C is with your 1, okay? And then going down to the next line, you have 1/5 in the bass, which is C, G. And then they give you in the treble the 1, 2, and then your A is 5 and your G is 4, okay? And then down below it's 1/5 again, but it's G, B. And then in your treble, it's, you've got the D and the F, which is 1, 3, A is 5 and G is 4. And then the next measure, it's D is 1, F is 3, A is 5, and G is 4. Next measure, 1 for C, okay? And then you've got the 5, and then it's 1, 3 for E, G, right? E, G. So it's, okay, so that's the way it's going to finish up. So on the next page, you've got 5/1, 5/1, and 5/1. Here we are, we're moving, right? We're going from G to E, F to D, C to E, and then B to D. So, but it's all 1/5s, right? So 1/5, 1/5 on the treble clef across that whole line, right? 5/1, 5/1. And then in the second measure in the bass, it's 1, 2, 1, 2. So you've got F, G, right? F, G, so 1, 2, 1, 2, and then when you get to the last measure there, it's E, G, so it's 1, 3. So you're going from 1, 2 to 1, 3, from F, G to E, G, okay? So in the second line, the same thing, that's all 5/1, right? And then in the second measure in the bass, again, it's F, G, which is 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 5/1, 5/1 in the treble, and then 1, 3, which is E, G, E, G, okay? And then in the third line, now we're going from the bass clef, we're doing the 1/5s, 1/5, C and E, and then B, D, E, G, or excuse me, A, C, and then G, B. Okay, so that's 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, and then above your F, G is 3 and 4. And then you've got your 1/5, 1/5, and then you go 2/4 for the E, G. So F, G, which is 4/3, and then 4/2 or 2/4, however you look at it. Okay, and then the last line, the same thing from C. So that with the bass is all 5/1 or 1/5, however you look at it, and then F, G is 4/3, and then 5/1, 5/1 from, and then 4/2. Okay, so then the way, starting with, you've got C, G, and then C, E. Okay, so, excuse me. So it looks like a moderate waltz tempo. And then remember, when we get to page 91, we're dealing with a staccato, which is very short notes. So, okay, so here we go. Now, just stop there for a moment. There's two places in the whole piece that you're using the sustain pedal, and that's the end of line 1 in the 4th measure, and then line 2, the end in the 4th measure. So let's do that again. Excuse me. Okay, now see that when you're doing, so here it's, for example, let's go back to the top of page 91. You've got G here and E here, so you're going down. So you're holding. Now this is in 3/4 time, so you've got a half note there, dotted half note, which is 3 beats, right? So when you're playing, you're holding that, and then when you go, you're holding that, and the staccato is here. So I neglected to mention that in the beginning, so let's go back to the beginning, okay? So. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with there in the Lone Star Waltz. Well, called the Lone Star Waltz. Is funny that they should have it in waltz tempo. Okay, let's go to page 92. And here we're dealing, so we've been dealing with sixths, and now we're dealing with sevenths and eighths, which is an octave. So we're starting to move up and dealing with an octave, which is going to be very useful as we continue to move forward. So as you can see, if you're just dealing with sevenths, it's going to be from line to line or space to space, whereas you're dealing with an octave, it's a little bit different, right? It's going to be line space or space line. So, and the fingering is a little bit different. If you look at the fingering for the treble clef, you have 1, 2 for a second, right? And then 1, 3, but you're using the 1, 2 fingers. So 1, 2, 1, 2, even though you're going to a third. And then when you go from C to F, it's your third finger, and then C to G, fourth finger, and then C to A, your fifth finger. Okay, let's see here. So, okay, so C to D is a second, C to E is a third, C to F is a fourth, C to G is a fifth, and we're using 1, 4 finger, right? And then C to A is a sixth, and then C to B is a seventh, and then C to C is an octave, right? C to C. So there's that stretch. You're stretching all the way from C to C. That's an octave. So here again, the basic difference is you're using the 1, 2, 1, 2 for both the second and the third, okay? So so the easiest way to think of harmonic intervals and melodic intervals is two people in harmony, right? They're singing together. So that's harmonic. That's harmony, right? So that would be a harmonic interval when you play them together. So the melodic interval is when you play it separately. So that's, I think, an easier way to think about it, instead of just memorizing it, understanding what's going on there. So, okay, so once again, it's using the second finger, third. So there's your octave. And then using the harmonics, it's 1 and 2, 1 and 2 again, 1 and 3, 1 and 4, 1 and 5, 1 and 5, and 1 and 5, right? So, okay, so then using the left hand down here in the C below middle C, 1 octave below where we've normally been playing, right? So it's 5, 4 for the C, D, but unlike what we did with the treble clef, it's 5, 3 right away. So 5, 4 for second, 5, 3 for the third, 5, 2 for the fourth, 5, 1 for the fifth, and then 5, 1 for the sixth, 5, 1 for the seventh, and 5, 1 for the octave. So there's the octave all the way. So. Okay, and then with the harmonic intervals. So then page 93, it just exercises for you to be able to recognize what are you dealing with, seconds or thirds. So you put the note in there, which represents the interval, okay? So then we're going to go on then to page 94. And this is an interesting one. It's Cafe Vienna, and we're dealing with eighths and quarters just like before, and we're dealing with 3/4 time. So I want to go over the fingering here just to make sure that you've got that, because this moves rather quickly. Looking at your treble clef, they already have in the first measure your 2, 1, 4, 4, 4. So that last G is using your fourth finger, and then going on in the treble clef, 2, 1, your A is 5, okay, and then E, G is 2, 1, and then you go up to B with your fifth finger and your fourth, and then G with your third, F and D is 2 and 1, and then again 2 and 1. So down in the bass clef, your C is 5, 1 and 3 for E and G, 1 and 3. Okay, and then 5 in the second measure, 1 and 3, 1 and 3, 5, 1 and 3, 1 and 3. Then you go down to B with your fifth finger, and then F and G, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, okay? And then in the next measure, your F in the treble clef is your second finger, 1 for the D, and then 5 for the B, and then 4 for the A. G with your third finger in the next measure, F and D, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, and then your F, D, 2, 1, B is 5, A is 4, and then in the last measure there, G is 3, and then 1, 1 for the E's, right? Now in the bass, you've got a B with 5, F and G, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 5 for the B, 1 and 2, F and G, 5, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and then C, and then E and G, 1 and 3, 1 and 3. So you go from F and G, 1 and 2, to E and G, 1 and 3. Okay? So in the in the third line, in the treble clef, you've got your E is 2, C is 1, G is 4 and 4, and then 2 and C, so 2 and 1, 5 and 5, so that's E, C, A, and then 2 and 1, so that's E, C, and then you're going up to B now with your fifth finger, and A with the fourth, and then G is your third, 1 and 2 is F and D again, 1 and 2, okay? Now in the bass clef, you've got C with the fifth, and then E and G, 1 and 3, 1 and 3. C is 5, E and G, 1 and 3, 1 and 3, 1 and 3. So 5, 1 and 3, 1 and 3, then 5 for the B, F and G, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, right? Okay, then the last line, F is 2, 1 is D, B is 5, and A is 4. And then G is 3, 1 and 2 for F and D, F and D. G is 5, F is 4, E is 3, D is 2, and then 1 is C, and what is that? That's 5 is C, so there's your octave. Okay, and then in the bass clef, B is with your 5 finger, and then 1 and 2, F and G, 1 and 2, B again, 5, F and G, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 5 is B, F and G, 1 and 2, C is 5, and then E, G, right? Okay, so then, when you're playing it, now they say start hands separately, which is a good idea, but don't need to do that right here. But you can do that, or whatever you feel comfortable doing. So, okay. Okay, what did we do here? Okay. Second to the last measure, so you let's go to the last line there where you've got B over here, you've got F here. So your fifth finger is up here on B, but now in the third measure there, it drops down to G. Okay, it goes so okay, so yeah, there's a couple little tricky places there, but so let's play that again. Now the next piece we should have time for. So this is andante, which is very soft. Well, it's a lullaby, right? So very smooth and very soft. So now the fingering on here is important. So you've got in your treble clef your E's with the one with your thumb, right? And then you've got a G and a which is 2, and then 1, 1 for the E's, and then 2 for the G, and then 1 for the E, 2 for the G, and then C is 5, B is 4, 3 is A, G, and then 1, 2 for D, E, okay? And then in the bass, you've got C, E, G for 1, 3, which is already there, and the same here. And then you go in the last measure in the bass clef, it's D with your fourth finger, and then F and G, 1 and 2. And then down to, okay, so then 3 is F, D is 1, 1 is D, and then 2 is E, and 3 is F, 1. Now you're going 1, 2 in the F, okay? So you're changing, and then B, A, so you've moved, and you're using your fourth finger for the B, A the third finger, G is the second, and then back to B, so that you've got a fifth finger for your C, and then 1, 1. And then B with the fifth, F and G, 1 and 2, B, fifth, F, G, 1 and 2, D with the fourth finger, F and G, and then C with the fifth, and then 1 and 3 for E and G, E and G. And then the third line, C, and then A is with the third, and F is with the first, and then G with the second. And then you move the second down to E, and then 1 for C, and then F is 3, G is 4, A is 5, 2 is E again, 4 is G, 1 and 1 for C. So C, F and A. So 5, 1, 2 for F and A, right? And then 5 for C, 1 and 3 for E and G. B is 5, 1 and 2 for F and G, F and G. C, E and G, 1 and 3, so 5, 1, 3. And then in the last line, you've got 5 on C, 3 on A, 1 on F, and then 2 for G. And then you move down to 3 for the E, 1 for the C, 4 for F, E is 3, D is 2, C is 1. And then C, F, A, 1, 2. So 5, 1, 2, 5, 1, 3, E, G. 5 for B, F, G, F, G, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and then C, E, G, right? So, so it's slow, it's smooth, and it's soft, but I can't really play it too soft because you won't be able to hear it. So, there you move. So there's some places that you have to move there, and so let's play that again. So you can see how important the fingering is. So yeah, it takes a little bit. Okay, so I think that'll be good for today. But as we move on, now we're getting into some interesting stuff, because once we get past this next page, we're going to be learning about half steps and whole steps, and we're going to be learning how to move up and down the keyboard smoothly. So there's some exciting times up ahead, and we're going to be learning a little bit more about music theory, not to scare you, because music theory can be a little challenging, but one of the things that I really like about this book is he makes it, as even for beginners, he makes it understandable, and I will certainly try to share that with you. So thank you very much, and happy playing.